Hey everyone, Brian here for Ginger Prime, and we're going to just dive into the patch notes. I'm doing this more for myself to make sure I fully understand what exactly is changing with the Witch Queen. This is patch 4.0.0.1, the update, and essentially this is going to be a patch notes reading. I hope you guys enjoy. If you feel like you want to weigh in on any particular topic, I'm going to go through the notes. This is the full patch notes while you wait for the game to go live, while you are like me at work, but ultimately I want to make sure that I understand fully what is changing with the updated patch with the Witch Queen as I dive back into Destiny 2 after having a good, I think, 6 to 7 month break. Honestly, I think that time off has been well worth it, having returned prior to the Witch Queen, and excited to jump in. Hopefully you guys are interested. And if nothing else, if you're looking for Destiny Fire teams to be able to play with, get some content clears and more, check the link in the description for our Discord. We're a pretty chill kind of group. We all got jobs, we got lives, we got families, and we like to shoot monsters in the face, and that's essentially what we do here. Anyway, let's dive into the update. Please forgive any misspeakings. Dyslexia is not necessarily the best form for content creators, but I have to deal with it every day. So in regards to activities, strikes the Glassway, they fixed a rare issue preventing some players from launching the strike directly from the Europa map. The Disgrace, they fixed an issue where players would be struck behind a gate after they joined an in-progress run of the strike. For the Scarlet Keep, they fixed an issue where the dialogue at the end of the campaign version of the Scarlet Keep would be cut off by end-user activities timer. They fixed an issue where players could sometimes be teleported higher floors in the tower before the elevator reached them. The Warden of Nothing, the launch node for the strike now appears in the Dreaming City map on the Director. The new copies of the Ward of Nothing Triumphs and Legend Triumph categories, players who previously earned these triumphs will have a reflected in their Legacy Triumphs and Triumph score, but they may be earned again in the new spot of traditional Triumph points. For Fallen Saber, they fixed the spot where players could hide from danger, and wanted enemies no longer spawn in the Vanguard playlist or direct launch strikes. Season of the Lost seasonal modifiers have been removed from the Vanguard playlist advantage and disadvantage slots. For Nightfalls, all difficulties except Grandmaster now feature an accrued burn modifier. This burn increases player output damage of the matching element by 25% and increases incoming damage by enemies by 50%. The burn element is set per strike. All strike specific modifiers like Sedia's Durance and Garicla's Bile have been removed. Seasonal modifiers are now used for Hero, Legend, and Master difficulty Nightfalls instead of the Vanguard playlist. These modifiers rotate each week. 3 seasonal modifiers for Season of the Risen have been added to the game. The Scorn modifier Festering Rupture has been replaced by Empath of the Scorn activities and have a rotating modifier. Nightfalls now display the modifier with a list of shield types that you encounter when playing on a difficulty with the match game. Regarding dungeons, they fixed an issue where Shadow Thrall and the Shattered Throne were unintentionally granting investment rewards. Updated Wish Ender quest to not require the Tangled Shore steps. That's excellent. All right, raids, the Vault of Glass. They fix invisible geometry that hinders players' traversal in the secret chest. Pinnacle reward sources moved to the Witch Queen raid. Vault of Glass rewards set to powerful. For Gambit, they added a freelance Gambit activity mode, and they also had a post over on Bungie.net as a heads up. If you guys haven't seen that, some big changes to Gambit are about to fall into your ear holes right here. They updated Gambit's combat encounter and variants. The Shriekers rest for now. Combat energy shield resistance increased medium blocker Phalanx ability or vitality from 500 to 1000. Added stasis attack to the large blocker knight. The bank lock waypoint now displays a far off screen. The rules of Gambit are now displayed in the activity modifier on Gambit and Gambit Freelance. Gambit is now Gambit specific loading screen hints. Ammo. Combatants no longer drop ammo bricks by chance, and ammo finder mods will still function. Ammo crates will spawn after clearing each font of combatants, and crates have a heavy and special ammo. High value targets will now drop heavy ammo bricks on death. Death and Resurrection, players will now drop half of their held emotes when defeated. Players can be revived by other players 2 seconds earlier, and auto respawn is delayed to 2 seconds. Added player respawn points on all fronts. This respawn thing is going to be huge for me personally speaking. It always annoyed me greatly when almost finishing a res and they're just gone. Invasions. One of the moat phase invasions have been removed. Invasions now trigger at 40 and 80 moat thresholds. Opponent nameplates are hidden when aiming down sights as the invader. Invaders no longer see opponent's mote count on their nameplate. For the Primeval, it gains Invulnerability Shield when it's removed upon defeating the Primeval envoys. Adjusted Primeval Health, Healing, and Primeval Slayer stack scaling. Primeval Slayer stacks no longer affect Primeval Envoys, and Primeval Envoys Vitality reduced from 2,000 to 1,000. The Envoy is now taken... now spawns on the fonts, or the fronts, if I could read. Primeval Servitor variant has been removed from Gambit. Malfeasance quest is now being granted on the Primeval Kill. Bank Drain will continue to increment your team's mote count even when the opponent has been summoned by Primeval. They fixed an issue where the visual effects have been being invaded did not apply to players returning from invasions. They fixed issues where invaders would drop motes when the opponent was already on the Primeval phase. Deep 6 fixed an issue where the AI combatants' movement in placement behavior, and they fixed an issue causing mini-boss combatants to converge upon the same firing areas. For the Crucible, they fixed an issue where Crucible sub-machinist medals was not being rewarded, fixed an issue where the unfaltering Glory Triumph win streak was not properly resetted, and they added Vostok and Eternity back into the Crucible playlists. So happy to see more maps, or returning maps, back into this game 100%. Iron Banner. Saladin now displays the Iron Engram in his rank description tooltips so that players better understand the rewards for ranking up. For Trials, they added a small amount of Trials reputation at the end of each match every round won that match. The amount that gets increased the more the tickets wins you have. At the top of the end, each round one generates 21 Trial reputation, and this should speed up the Trials reputation gains by around 50% on average. The bonus win from the Passage of Ferocity now grants progress towards Saint Seven's win challenge. Ritual Wanks, Vanguard, Crucible, Gambit, and Trial double ranks weeks have all been doubled to Nightfall's to loot, are now advertised on the launch screens of the various activities. Rank reward engrams and all ritual vendors should now decrypt into equipment closer to your current power level. Regarding lost sectors, the lost in the Sand Bounty no longer auto-completes after launching Alpharin's Rest Legend Lost Sector after completing it once without the bounty. They fixed an issue where the description of the Mastery difficulty Concealed Void Lost Sector on Europa claimed that all three shield types were present when there were no arc shields. Previously, the Legend difficulty version of the Concealed Void Lost Sector on Europa had enemies with all three shield types. The arc shielded captain has been replaced with an Elite Vandal on Legend, and on Master it was already replaced with an Overlord champion. Legend and Master Lost Sectors are now in the same Lost Sector each day. When launching Legend and Master Lost Sectors, you can now see normal Director launch screen when you interact with a totem, and you can switch difficulties from that screen. Master and Legendary difficulty now displays information about which shields are present when you pull on your ghost, and with the rest of each of the activity modifiers. The bosses and the extraction site 12 and the query lost sectors are now properly set by the boss type on Legend and Mastery difficulty, and they no longer can be killed with finishers as a result. Most lost sectors now have more intense music when playing on Legend and Master difficulty. The Escalade Site 12 fixed the issue where the barrier and entrance on Legend and Master difficulty had a gap in the following players outside of the Lost Sector. Velis Labyrinth encounters have been improved to bring this Lost Sector more in line with others. They fixed an issue with the Scavenger's Den, Scavenger Site 12, and the Query Lost Sectors on EDZ where boss names were not showing up. Regarding your general activities, on most activities that feature multiple champion types, we are now display single combined activity modifier, aka Barrier and Unstoppable, as a single icon, instead of separate modifiers for each one. Tooltips for the champion activity modifiers now include more information on how to acquire and equip anti-champion armor mods. Tooltip for the champion activity modifiers now include champion icons. On most activities with match game, we are now displaying an activity modifier icon to showcase which enemy shields you will face. Seasonal challenges. They fixed seasonal challenges that the current week opens up by defaulting during weeks 1 through 10. Regarding the UI, F8 and F12 no longer will be bound to keyboard inputs. Instead, binding these keys has been removed. Seasonal challenges can now be tracked and are visible on the Navi mode. Subtitles no longer overlap with notifications that appear at the bottom of the player's HUD, and subtitles have been defaulted to on for all players, and subtitles may be turned off in the settings menu. For text chat, additional platforms now support text chat input via keyboard or hardware keyboard, Stadia, PS4, 5, Xbox One, and Series X and S. They added the option to change the font size in the text chat. Known issues, IME support is not yet available. The team is working to provide a solution in the near future. And regarding your roster, updated special preferences settings to include clan invite preferences, enable player search on Stadia via hardware keyboard, and the Director of Prophecy Dungeon has been moved to the Legends screen. For your gameplay and investment regarding armor, 6 new permanent armor mods have been added to the game: Kinetic Siphon, Harmonic Siphon, and an equivalent mod for each of the 4 damage types. These mods can be socketed into the helmet mod and allow for weapons to generate orbs of power. Functionally, this has been depreciated from weapons. These mods are automatically unlocked for all players and will work with all weapons of the appropriate damage type. A suit of permanent armor mods has been added that work with the new glaive weapon archetype: glaive ammo finder, glaive targeting, loader, dexterity, capacity, glaive, ammo scavenger, and holster. These mods can be obtained when opening legendary engrams. They reduce the cost of changing the energy type of a fully masterwork piece of armor. Once masterwork legendary armor can swap between energy types for a cost of 10,000 glimmer and an upgrade module. The fully masterwork exotic armor can swap between energy types for a cost of 20,000 glimmer and an upgrade module. They fixed an issue where Titans could accidentally trigger the energy converter mod while in their super, consuming all stacks of charged light for no gain. They fixed an issue where higher tier damage reduction could be extended when gaining power, or lower tier damage reduction. Productive light damage reduction reduced to 10%, and well tenacity damage increased to 50%. As a dev note, protective light was previously too dominant and felt too much like a must-take mod. By swapping the damage reduction values of Protective Light and Well of Tenacity, Protective Light should no longer feel like a mandatory part of every loadout, and players will need to choose between smaller but longer-lasting amounts of damage reduction on demand when wounded. Protective Light versus a shorter duration but stronger amount of damage reduction when picking up Void Wells, Well of Tenacity. They reworked the Heart of Inmost Light to be more consistent and reliable. They fixed an issue where Titans who threw Sentinel Shield would lose charge of light stacks to reduce abilities that could not recharge mid-super. Syntheseps no longer increase the damage of stasis crystals while in super. For the Finisher mod rework, finishers can now always be performed even when using mods that require super energy. If the required super energy is not available, the benefit will not trigger. So with the dev note here, with the introduction of Lucent Hive Ghosts and finishers being meticulously or mechanically necessary to defeat them, the finisher mods have all been updated to behave differently. Now, regardless of which mods you have equipped or how much super energy you have, you will always be able to perform finishers. If you don't have the requisite energy or you don't need what the mod would grant, the benefit will not trigger and you will not have super energy deducted. For example, if you have 1-2 finisher equipped and you have the full melee and or less than 1/6 of your super energy, you will be able to perform the finisher, but you will neither gain melee energy or nor be charged the super energy. For weapons, they fixed an issue with Zealot's Reward Fusion Rifle could be fired without costing the correct amount of ammo. Bows with explosive heads and anti-barrier mod will now detonate on impact with enemies. They fixed an issue where the Whisper of the Worm ornament, Roar of the Worm, had slightly visible holes near the scope. For the global, kill trackers are now visible by default on all weapons that shipped with Forsaken and later. Exotic weapons from earlier than that will be updated at a later release. For special ammo, players now only drop 1 special ammo on death or equivalent, no matter how much they were carrying, as long as they weren't empty. The maximum you could pick up off a special brick is for 1 for a shotgun, fusion rifle, and sniper rifle, or the equivalent of other weapons. Scavenger adds to this as normal. For quick swap as a glitch, they fixed the animation cancel, allowing players to use a specific button combination to swap almost instantly. Inserted mods on legendary weapons is now free and instantaneous. For weapon archetypes, the fusion rifle increased high impact fusion rifle damage per bullet from 62 to 64. They increased the impact of fusion rifle PvE damage bonus from 15% to 20%. For breach grenade launches, reduced binding and concussion grenades damage by 25%. For rocket launchers, scale damage by subfamily, precision 0.9x5. For high impact, 1, adaptive 1.05, and aggressive 1.05. For sniper rifles, they reduced variance of aim assist scaling between low zoom and high zoom, and then essentially cone scaler increased by 25% on low zoom, reduced by 9% on high zoom. For pulse rifles, they increase damage versus minors in PvE by 10%. For your exotic weapons, the exotic primary ammo weapon increased damage versus minors in PvE by 40%. Trace, they increased damage versus minors in PvE by 40%. And Chaperone reduced passive range buff from 2 meters to 0.05 meters. For duality, reduced passive ranged buff on slug mode when aiming down sights from 1.25 to 0.5. Pellet mode is unaffected. On Blackwing's damage buff no longer clears on reload. Teraba now reduces perk progress by half instead of clearing its weapon on stow. Increase the duration increases for damaging a player slightly. For Ruinous Effigy, increase the damage dealt by guarding a transmutation sphere by 66%, 30% against players. Lumina, increase range from 44 to 59, increase base stability from 46 to 56. For Ager's Scepter, fix being able to activate and continue using Empower mode while suppressed or stasis encased. Rebuilt the perk. Previously, the perk modified supercharge rate. Now it freezes super recharge and deducts super directly, fixing several issues with activities that change charge rate and outliers for recharge based off of the intellect stat. For Dead Man's Tale, they reduced the catalyst hip fire rate from 150 RPM to 130 RPM. For Limerence's Driver and Albarist, they double the amount of flinch received. Forerunner increased ammo pickup with special ammo brick from 2 to 3. Or 3 to 4, 4 to 5, with the scavenger mod. For legendary weapons, they adjusted the weapon stats on some of the older weapons. For hand cannons, they updated the band stat of the old 150 RPM hand cannons. Dire Promise plus 4 range, plus 3 stability, minus 4 aim assist. Walking Vigil plus 6 range, plus 5 stability, minus 3 aim assist. Jack Queen's King plus 3 range, plus 3 stability, minus 8 aim assist. And Spare Rations plus 4 range, plus 4 stability, minus 9 aim assist. For Fellwinter's Lie, they added 15% spread angle. Icolos SMG, 1 zoom, -5 range, -7 stability, -8 handling, -5 aim assist. For the dev note, we typically don't adjust stats on weapons at all post ship, so we don't intend to do this regularly. Perks, the hipfire grip now increases damage fall off start at the end distances by 20%, except on shotgun, sniper rifle, and fusion. The Algetto, increased duration from 5 to 7, increased damage bonuses except for the bow and fusion rifle from 25% to 30%, and now adds 10 range. They added the timer of the buff text to make it easier to tell when it is going to expire. The dual loader reduced reload stat penalty from 50 to -35, and Danger Zone reduced the danger damage scalar grenade launchers combined with other scalars. This ends up reducing the self damage from 1.25 to 0.75 times. Now, tap on the trigger, the fusion rifle only reduced the stability from 40 to 10. They changed the max recoil angle from 0.5 to 0.875. They changed the error angle scale from 0.9 to 0.975, unchanged on all the other weapons. Eager Edge reduced the lunge distance benefit while airborne by 25%, now caps maximum airborne velocity to a fairly high value while active. For Headseeker, they extended the buff duration from 0.17 seconds to 0.3 and will now last for the full burst of the aggressive burst pulse rifle. For your abilities, the Void subclasses get the reworked 3.0 system. There are too many individual systematic changes for them to list here, but the Void subclass is now going to use the Aspect and Fragment system, which we've seen already used by Stasis. They standardized a set of buffs and debuffs aligned by the Void damage type. Void Overshield, you're now armored with a protective barrier of Void Light, reduces damage taken from combatants. For Invisibility, you now vanish from sight, and you do not appear on the enemy radar. For Devour, you feast on the energy of your defeated foes. Kills restores your full health and grant energy, and extend Devour. For Weaken, your target takes increased damage and has their movement speed slowed. Affected combats have difficulty firing accurately. Suppressing, the target is now taken out of active abilities and cannot activate any abilities for movement modes while suppression persists. Affected combatants cannot fire their weapons. And Volatile, the target is affected with unstable void energy, and energy will explode upon taking additional damage. Hovering over aspects, fragments, and our abilities on the subclass screen will now display a tooltip, flyout detailing any relevant status effects. Some old subclass perks have been depreciated, while others have been rolled into a base ability behavior in fragments and aspects, with some changes on behavior as a result. All classes now have access to all void grenades. For grenades, the Vortex grenade now pulls enemies into the lingering damage field on impact. Linger damage per tick reduced by 20%. Detonation damage versus players reduced by 50%. Base cooldown increased from 105 seconds to 121 seconds. For the spike grenade, base cooldown reduced from 105 to 91 seconds. For the void wall grenade, now more consistently expands to its full length over uneven terrain. Scatter grenade, charged scatter grenade, seeker lifetime before detonating, and seeker tracing strength increased. Nothing manacles now inherits the charged grenade projectile directly and benefits from this change. Base cooldown increased from 105 to 121 seconds. For the suppressor grenade, and the effect now lasts for 5 seconds against player targets, down from 10 seconds. For the Hunter Night Stalker, Shadow Shot, split Shadow Shot in 2 separate variants, Deadfall and Mobius Quiver. Shadow Shot, Dead Shot. On impact, Deadshot, Shadow Shot now pulls nearby enemies to tether range before aiming. Duration of tether mark against players. The red X is what appears to tether targets, reduced from 30 seconds to 10 seconds, unchanged in PvE combatants. Base direct impact damage increased from 250 to 150. Damage, or decreased, not increased. Damage versus combatants increased to compensate. This increase varies by type and other tier combats, but generally is significantly more damage than before. They moved Deadfall Shadow Shot to the tier 4 super recharge tier and recharges more quickly than previously. For Mobius Quiver, each shot now fires a volley of 3 void arrows in a fan that seeks nearby enemies, suppressing and weakening them and making them volatile. 2 shots per super with 3 Orpheus rings equipped. Reduced the base direct impact per arrow from 250 to 125, and reduced bonus damage for the tether targets from 5x to 1.2x. They increased the base damage of scalers and PvE combatants to compensate, moving to such tethered bonuses and damage to back of base impact PvE damage. This increase varies by type and the tier of combatant, but generally within the same damage profile as the previous Mobius Quiver in terms of total damage. All Shadow Shot variants now suppress the target more quickly and reliably on direct impact. Slightly lowered the collision size of Shadow Shot projectile to reduce instances where it would get caught on door frames in close quarter activation. Player maximum momentum while casting Shadow Shot reduced. In-air speed reduction from 5 meters to 3 meters. Ground speed reduced from 8 meters to 5 meters. In this case, also 0.5s there. You should reduce the number of instances players are firing off cliffs into boss stomp range and beyond the edge of the known universe while firing their Shadow Shot arrows. They fixed an issue where Shadow Shot arrows would immediately delete when impacting a barrier champion shield, depreciated the corrosive smoke ability and heart of the pack buff behavior. Snare Bomb now has the default Night Stalker ability, it's their default melee ability, now weakens enemies on detonation, and radar ping duration reduced from 5 seconds after impact. The Vanished Smoke Bomb, depreciated as a standalone melee ability, and the Trapper's Ambush aspect is equipped. Your Snare Bomb will make nearby allies invisible when it impacts a surface or enemy. For the Revenant, Silence and Squall now follows boss or champion targets if they move out of the Squall area. If the boss or champion dies, the Squall will attempt to find a new target and move towards them. For your Arc Strider Arc Staff cooldown time is increased from tier 3 to tier 2. For the Titan, the Sentinel Ward of Dawn, it is now a standalone super in recharge tier 5, the fastest recharge tier. The Weapons of Light ongoing damage bonus reduced from 35 to 25%. Ward of Dawn can now take damage from kinetic weapons and now cast as much more quickly as a result of being decoupled from the Sentinel Shield activator. For Sentinel Shield, depreciated a small shield block behavior. Banner Shield is now in the new base behavior for the Sentinel Shield. Large guard size generates orbs, and power on blocking damage can be shot through by allies, and provide a weapon and damage boost for ally players behind the caster while guarding. For Shield Bash, it now grants Void over Shield on kill, and depreciated the Tactical Strike and Defensive Strike melee abilities, and the Turn the Tide subclass passive perk. They added new ranged melee abilities. The Shield Toss, throw your Sentinel Shield, which ricochets between nearby enemies. Each hit with the Shield Toss grants a small amount of Void over Shield. For the Sunbreaker, Sun Spots, damage versus players reduced from 250 hit points per second to 75 hit points per second. Throwing Hammer, they fixed an issue causing this projectile melee to behave as a physical melee. For the Striker, Fist of Havoc cooldown has been decreased from tier 1 to tier 2. Behemoth, Glacial Quake cooldown time decreased from tier 1 to tier 2. Glacial Quake ground follows and creates the 3 lines of the crystals, now terminate nearly early if they are hit by an allied Ward of Dawn. For your ward lock, the Void Walker Nova Bomb split Nova Bomb into two separate variants, Vortex and Cataclysm. Nova Bomb Vortex on impact now pulls nearby enemies into the lingering damage field. Cataclysm increased the travel speed by 30%, added a short delay before Nova Bomb Seekers spawn to reduce instances of them being caught in the detonation area and destroyed prematurely. Thank you very much. Decreased damage from the caster when shooting your own Nova Bomb, and previously a scalar increased damage you dealt to your Nova Bomb by 1,000 times has now been reduced to ×4. This is intended to reduce instances of accidentally destroying your Nova Bomb while in fight after firing it at a boss. Depreciated the Entropic Pull Devour and Automatic Breach melee abilities and the Dark Matter subclass passive perk. They added a new ranged melee ability, Pocket Singularity. This is going to launch an unstable ball of void energy that detonates when it is near enemies, pushing targets away from the blast and making them volatile. For the handheld supernova, it now makes the target volatile on hit, and now accesses via the Chaos Accelerant aspect when Magnetic Grenade is equipped. For the Shade Miner, Winter's Wrath cooldown has been decreased from tier 1 to tier 2. Dawnblade Daybreak cooldown time increased from tier 2 to tier 1. For Void aspects, they've added the Hunter Traverse Ambush, Vanishing Step, and Stylish Executioner, Titan Controlled Demolition, Bastion, and Offensive Bulwark, and Warlock Chaos Accelerant, Feed the Void, and Child of the Old Gods. Void Fragments added Echo of Expulsion, Provision, Exchange, Remnants, Reprisal, Undermining, Persistence, Leeching, Domineering, Dilation, and 4 redacted ones that I believe are happening after the raid is out. Miscellaneous, Rat King and Assault Cowls upgraded to use of the new Void Invisibility buff. Helm of Saint 14 updated to use the new Void Overshield buff. And Stasis Crystals now take 90% less damage from PvE combatants. Regarding power and progression, the Sentinel artifact no longer is capped at 12 unlocks. Over the course of the season, players will be able to continue earning artifact mod unlocks, potentially up to unlocking all 25 artifact mods. Powerful and pinnacle gear rewards have been moved from Europa to the new destination in the Witch Queen. Power bands have been updated and increased. So the floor, 1350 up from 1100. Soft cap, 1500 up from 1270. Powerful cap, 1550 up from 1320. Hard cap, 1560 up from 1330. And purchasable character boosts can now be upgraded accordingly and will increase your character's power on the new soft cap of 1500. Umbral Focusing. After many months of dutiful service, the Prismatic Recaster is removed from the helm. Ragul and the tower have been risen up to the challenge and can now decode Umbral engrams. Awesome. That's going to be so nice. Gear focusing options for seasonal Power Pass owners will reside in the Seasonals vendor. At the start, players can focus Umbral engrams into the seasonal gear, and focusing individual weapons and armor pieces will require 2 things: having collected that piece of gear before and owning the vendor upgrade in weapon and armor. For your bounties and your pursuits, they fixed a rare issue where the Lost Lament exotic quest which caused the players to be stuck in the Broken Blade item from Banshee. They added daily and repeatable calibration bounties for glaives. They added new bounties for void status effects. They added stasis calibration bounty. Dreaming City bounties have now been upgraded to provide the same XP rewards as other bounties of the same kind. And then regarding emblems, the Spoils of Ishgard emblem is now be tracked in raid statistics. Man, I blew that one hard. Shaders. Fixed an issue where allowing duplicate shaders to continue to drop from the patrol chest. Looking at you, Power Blue. Catalysts from following catalysts now have a chance to drop when completing Vanguard, Crucible, and Gambit activities. Hawkmoon, Deadeye's Tail, Aegir Scepter, Outbreak Perfected, Whisper of the Worm, and the 4 Horsemen. I'm very excited about getting that catalyst for my Outbreak Perfected. All right, this is gonna be fun. All right, seasonal pass rewards. High stat seasonal armor has now been reintroduced. Individual pieces are rewarded between ranks 57 and 87. Legendary engrams have been replaced with focused umbral engrams. 5 in total, each focus a different color piece: legs, armor, chest, head, and etc. All umbral engrams are tier 2. The Season Pass emblem has been removed and has been introduced in Season Pass Sparrow. The Season Pass and Scrounger bonuses, which increase the seasonal weapon armor and drop chances and ritual activities, have been overhauled. Weapon Scrounger bonuses are no longer separated by weapon type or ritual activity, and they now apply to both Seasonal Pass legendary weapons and all activities at once. 2 Weapon Scrounger bonuses instead of 6. They fix bonuses that grants players a small chance to receive and earn weapons from ritual activities, and the second bonus gives an improved chance. Total drop chance is unchanged from previous seasons, and the Armor Scrounger bonuses are no longer separated by ritual activity. It now implies that the activities are all at once. 1 Armor Scrounger bonus is affected instead of 3, and like the weapon, the total drop chance of each of these armor pieces is unchanged. Aside from the emblem, no items have been removed from Season Pass, only added. A number of rewards such as Glimmer and Legendary Shards has been consolidated to make room for high stat armor, and a small amount of upgrade modules has been added. In order some rewards acquired has been attuned to accommodate the above changes. For your platform and system changes, Windows 10 and up, Windows HDR is now supported. To use Windows HDR, players must have in-game HDR option enabled. Windows 10 configuration, use HDR enabled. For the specific display, when playing in Destiny in HDR, the game will automatically swap between HDR and SDR if the window moves to display without HDR support. All players SDR, HDR, in the use of the software OBS on Windows 10 and up, and with window capture, ensure the capture method is set to Windows Graphic Capture or capturing display black screen, and the bit setting to continue to work previous versions of Windows. Windows 10 and up offered full screen should provide the same or better performance compared to exclusive full screen. Under the hood, Destiny now uses DXGI flip model on Windows 10 and up, and more information can be found in the patch notes if you're interested. Screenshots are now supported when playing HDR and PC. Screenshots will be taken in the in-game screenshot feature. HDR screenshots will be tone mapped to SDR and save of lossless PNG files. Display calibration improvements on all platforms. Players in HDR will see updated calibration UI screen to adjust their settings. HDR calibration settings have been updated with friendlier functions to accommodate a wide range of HDR display capacities. SDR HDR calibration settings are no longer stored account-wide, and the old settings have been reset. Display calibration settings are now stored per platform: PC, Xbox, Series X, Xbox X, PS4, PS5, and Stadia. SDR brightness settings no longer affect the game when playing in HDR. For general updates, they adjusted the physical knockback of boss stomps, and this will, and it's crossed out, should result in fewer deaths from being knocked into an object. Tangled Shore and Forsaken campaigns have entered the Destiny content vault, removed all wanted enemies and Silent Fang missions from Nessus and the EDZ. Petra Ven's bounties can now be purchased from Destiny's campaign app without requiring the character to be on the Dreaming City destination. Some items that were previously sold by the Drifter or dropped from the Primeval Servitor boss in Gambit now have a small chance of dropping upon completion upon a Gambit match. Players above the soft cap, 1500 power, will no longer receive rare blue drops from playlist activities, Crucible, Gambit, and Vanguard. Players above the soft cap will have an increased chance at legendary weapons and armor drops, or a small amount of legendary shards. Returning players who have no power weapon equipped will now have a rocket launcher granted to them on login. Thank you, the light. Season 16 of Mana Holiday will now reward a new emblem to players that complete the Twitch subscription bounties through the Destiny 2 Twitch extension. Vendors. Zur will now sell Hawkmoon and Dead Man's Tale. He will offer a unique roll on both weapons each week. Master Rugul now offers a material exchange and will be the source for purchasing enhanced prisms and ascendant shards. Banshee 44 and 801 now offer 4 mods at a time, increased up from 2. Banshee 44 has been updated to utilize the new reputation system used by other vendors in the tower, such as Shax, Zavala, and the Drifter. In Saint 14, dismantle armor and weapons will earn gunsmith reputation. Banshee 44 daily bounties now offer a small amount of gunsmith reputation upon completion. Gunsmith materials, mod components, weapon telemetry, and pure master glass lens have been depreciated. Ghost mods that generated weapon telemetries have been removed. The Drifter now offers weapons and armor focusing. New Gambit engrams can be spent on focused equipment in the Drifter and may be decrypted by Master Ragul. Sean no longer offers repeatable bounties and new characters before they finish A Guardian Rises. Receive new light's valuable glimmer. A new exotic quest, The Queen Beckons, is available from Sean Hall for players who purchase the Witch Queen expansion. Upon completion, the quest rewards the exotic auto rifle. Sweet business. The Blast from the Past exotic quest has been moved from Veracruz vendor on Europa. Ikora Ray from her overlook on the Tower Bazaar. Ikora will now teach all classes the void abilities, aspects, and fragments that they have yet to unlock on their character. However, easily learning new void abilities comes with a cost. Each new ability learned requires a large quantities of reprogrammable matter, Glimmer, and nearly a meditation device and to expedite the process. Returning characters with Void subclasses will have the majority of their abilities unlocked upon character login. Grenades that were not accessible prior to the Witch Queen launch will still need to be learned from Ikora. For new characters, Ikora will offer quests to earn their Solar and Arc subclasses once they have reached her step in a Spark of Hope questline. For New Line, changes alongside Voidpoint 3.0. All new characters will start with the reworked Void 3.0 subclass regardless of the class. Solar and Arc subclasses may still be unlocked for all classes and quests. These quests are available after finishing a Guardian Rises questline and talking to our core raid during a Spark of Hope quest. New characters will start the Void subclass abilities intended to be more friendly and appealing to new players, and additional abilities may be unlocked by talking to Ikora in the tower. For Hunter, super ability, Mobius Quiver, class ability, Marksman's Dodge, movement ability, Triple Jump, charged melee, Snare Bomb, Void Grenade, Shatter Grenade. Titan super ability, Sentinel Shield, class ability, Towering Barricade, movement ability, Catapult Lift, charged ability, Shield Throw, Void Grenade, Magnetic Grenade. Warlock super ability, Nova Bomb and Vortex, the Vortex version of the Nova Bomb. Class ability, Healing Rift, movement ability, Burst Glide, charged melee, Pocket Singularity, Void Grenade, Vortex Grenade. New quest, Learning Light. During the Schism mission, players will require a new quest called Learning Light that teaches them more about their subclass abilities. The quest is only available for new characters and existing characters that have not yet finished the Schism mission in a Guardian Rises questline. This quest is not required to complete a Guardian Rises questline. A Guardian Rises questline, a second sacrifice questline step requiring players to purchase a bounty from Shan Ha, has been removed. The Seek and Destroy questline no longer requires completing a bounty to progress. Welcoming Committee questline steps, where players meet Ikora for the first time, now has a new voiceover introduction performance for her character. Spark of Hope questline, after completing the first step in the questline, Zavala will now ask players to play the first mission of the Witch Queen campaign instead of Beyond Light. Cosmodrome Destination, a precious but unusable path has been wielded together to help new lights climb into the divine into the exodus of Garden to a lost sector. An issue has been resolved where players in the Guardian Rises mission will not see the catch fly by performance in the divine if another player on the same mission was already present. Europa Destination. Europa has been added to the Destination XP based unlock flow for new light players. Regarding localization, Eris for the Brazilian Portuguese has been re-recorded to replace sound alike. Ghost and Mexican Spanish has been re-recorded to replace sound alike. Ghost and Drifter for Halcyon Spanish has been particularly re-recorded to replace sound alike. Will be fully re-recorded in the next update, and Zavala and Mexican Spanish has been recast and recorded. Those are your patch notes for patch 4.0.0.1. Guys, hopefully you are excited as I am to jump back into Destiny and for the Witch Queen. I thank you guys for your time. Hopefully you found this video as some value to your day. And yeah, I'll see you guys in this new expansion and this whole new season of Destiny. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you have a great day, and I'll see you in my next one. But until then, take care.
Yeah. It's time to chill out on the couch and read some comments. That's right. You know me when it comes to Destiny. I'm off with the clan, and I'm glad you're feeling better. Oh.